Rain etched scars onto glass panes, whispering lies only broken hearts decipher. I watched droplets race downward, mimicking my unraveling marriage. Inside our oak-framed home, shadows danced on ivory walls, mocking the silence he'd left behind. David, my once passionate, forever promising husband, vanished without warning. No farewell, no closure, just abandonment wrapped in cruelty. 12 calendars flipped while we shared breath, dreams, meals, lies. Our history felt sacred, yet fragile. We'd locked eyes at an art gallery in Florence, both drawn toward the same Baroque canvas. I wore cobalt suede heels, he noticed. Sparks ignited. Months later, rings exchanged. Our ceremony overlooked vineyards. He promised fidelity. I believe. Everything disintegrated 3 mornings ago. It started with his laughter. Different. Lighter. Secretive. I noticed subtle shifts. Text shielded, kisses distracted, unfamiliar perfume laced into his skin. My gut screamed, but denial muzzled my instincts. Until his phone chimed beside mine, curiosity pulled me toward hell. She messaged him, Maya. Barely 20. Her words dripped sweetness, naivety, and something else, lust. Photos followed. Her body, flawless and fearless. Youth packaged in digital temptation. My lungs tightened, pulse surged. Can't wait to feel you again, Daddy, she typed. I froze, bile clawing its way upward. I confronted him that night. He smirked. No apology, only arrogance. I need freedom, Anna. You don't inspire me anymore. He kissed my cheek, cold, dismissive, then vanished before dawn. Hours later, bank accounts blinked zeros. Credit frozen. Jewelry gone. All traces of our shared life erased. I sat alone on our velvet chaise, shattered. Outside, cardinals chirped, unaware. Inside, silence mocked. I didn't scream. I painted. Fury drove my brush, violent strokes, primal colors. Blood reds, charcoals, bruised purples. I depicted betrayal. Tangled limbs, melting faces, hollow eyes. My first canvas showed Maya, seducing a skeleton draped in pearls. My second? David impaled by roses. Beauty always cut. Friends called. I ignored. Family worried. I lied. Said I was healing. Truth? I fantasized. Not about murder, about redemption. Revenge. Lustful redemption. That's when I met Lucien. Gallerist. Enigmatic. Raven-haired, with stormy eyes and lips that spoke in riddles. He visited my studio after a friend submitted my recent work anonymously. Said my pain screamed genius. Said he wanted to exhibit everything. Said my darkness turned him on. We talked for hours. Then we drank wine. Then I stopped remembering rules. He touched my shoulder gently, tracing painted freckles on my skin. This piece, he whispered, pointing toward my depiction of betrayal, feels wet. Like sin. His tongue flicked against his teeth. I felt heat pulse beneath my ribs. It had been months since I'd felt anything but rage. Our eyes locked. He kissed me, soft at first. My lips forgot David's. My body thirsty. His hands, firm, knowing, everywhere. I didn't hesitate. We made love among canvases, against walls, inside paint-smeared sheet. With every gasp, I shed grief. With every thrust, I reclaimed power. Lucien didn't ask questions. He devoured truths from my moans. I screamed David's name once, on purpose. Lucien bit my thigh in response. He's dead here, he growled. Only I exist now. Post-climax, we lay beneath brush-stained linen. Moonlight glowed on his chest. I watched him breathe. He reached for a cigarette. You want revenge? He asked. I nodded. He smirked. Let's make your pain famous. I never looked back. Desire bloomed like wildfire, uncontrolled, seductive, ruinous. Every whisper Lucien shared fed my rebirth. Under his touch, I stopped being David's discarded wife. I became something primal, sacred, dangerous. Our nights grew raw, endless. My tongue learned his name intimately, syllables dancing between sheets stained by more than paint. He'd arrive at midnight, smelling of bergamot, leather, storms. He never said where he went beforehand, I never asked. Lust didn't care for timelines. By day, my studio evolved into a battleground. Color bled violently across canvases. My brush slashed, kissed, wept. Every stroke told forbidden stories. Women biting apples laced with poison. Men drowning beneath golden thighs. A crimson-winged goddess smiling while slicing an oathbreaker's throat. Critics would later call it revolutionary. To me, it was simply memory repurposed. Lucien adored my madness. He labeled me Muse of Mayhem. His gallery buzzed with buyers, collectors, voyeurs. People obsessed over the raw ache dripping from my work. No one suspected the truth hidden within each piece. But someone noticed, Maya. She appeared unexpectedly during an exclusive showing downtown. I recognized her instantly. Those flaxen curls, porcelain skin, lips constantly pouting like she was seconds away from whining. She strolled beside David, her manicured claws tucked into his tailored sleeve. They moved like royalty. I nearly laughed. David hadn't seen me yet. I stood beside Lucien, champagne fluted, eyes rimmed in smoky indifference. My latest canvas hung behind us, a faceless man pierced by sapphires, draped in cash, devoured by shadows. Lucien smirked knowingly when David paused, staring directly at it. Symbolic, he muttered to Maya, who didn't respond. Her gaze stayed locked onto me. Then, recognition. Maya's jaw twitched. She leaned toward David, whispering furiously. His face blanched. I sipped champagne, watching them squirm. He hadn't expected this. He believed I'd crawl somewhere quiet, wilt, fade. Not rise. Not shine. Not fuck someone better. Lucien slithered beside me, whispering, "They look uncomfortable." His hand found the curve of my hip. "You want them gone?" "No," I purred. "I want them ruined." That evening, after lights dimmed and paintings were wrapped, Lucien took me to a penthouse overlooking the bay. He pinned me against glass walls. We fucked like animals, teeth grazing skin, hands clinging like lifelines. I moaned louder than ever before, hoping the city heard. Afterward, he lit his cigarette. The smoke curled like temptation. "Let's give them a show they'll never forget," he murmured. "Expose every secret." "I want her destroyed," I whispered. "I want him erased." Lucien leaned over, brushing ash from my collarbone. Then we seduced their world. Over the next few weeks, I became a name. Magazines requested interviews. My Instagram flooded with thirst and admiration. Lucien guided everything, every feature, every post, every outfit. I became an icon of reinvention, vengeance, sensual rebirth. My old self, soft-spoken, reserved, obedient, vanished completely. Meanwhile, I discovered secret. David wasn't rich anymore. After stealing our money, he invested poorly. Maya's shopping addiction didn't help. They rented a condo pretending it was owned. He'd been borrowing against everything. Karma, slow but savage, finally tapped his shoulder. But that wasn't enough. So I hosted my next exhibit inside the hotel where David and I honeymooned. I sent private invitations, one addressed personally to her. The envelope smelled like gardenias, David's favorite flower. Inside, a single line. "See what he lost." She came, of course, alone. Maya entered wearing white satin, ironic. Her heels clicked like threat. Her eyes scanned the room, unsure, cautious. My newest masterpiece awaited her, a nude portrait of her. Except this, Maya stood bound in velvet ropes, lips stitched shut, held beneath the heel of a woman cloaked in fire. Guests whispered. Cameras flashed. Maya trembled. "You've immortalized me?" she hissed when we finally stood face to face. "No," I replied calmly. "I've captured your expiration date." She slapped me. Nails grazed my cheek. Lucien stepped forward, fists clenched, but I stopped him. Pain never scared me. Weakness did. "I'll sue," she snapped. "This is defamation." "No," I said, smiling coldly. "This is reality." She fled, mascara streaking. The crowd applauded. Lucien kissed my forehead, murmuring, "You're magnificent." Back at his loft, we celebrated. Naked, sticky with sweat, paint, satisfaction. He tied a silk scarf around my wrists, dragged it slowly down my body, eyes burning like embers. "They've never seen power like yours," he growled. "You're the weapon." "I want to finish them both," I whispered. "Then let's get creative." Together, we hatched the final stage. He'd photograph us. Passionate, raw, obscene. I would leak one image anonymously, me atop Lucien, back arched, hands tangled in his curls. Just enough to break illusions. But before I could execute, something unexpected occurred. David called. I hadn't heard his voice in months. My phone rang just past midnight. I answered instinctively. His voice? Shaky. Weak. Pathetic. "Anna," he breathed. I messed everything up. Not news. She's gone. Took what little I had. I'm drowning. I didn't speak. "I think about you," he continued. "I miss who we were. I miss your warmth. Your laugh. You miss my money." "No. God no. I was stupid. Maya, she doesn't compare. You were fire. She was smoke." I laughed bitterly. "And now you're choking?" "I need you." I paused. "Then come find me." He arrived an hour later, rain-soaked, desperate. Lucien watched from upstairs, silent. David knelt. Apologized. Begged. Tried kissing my hand. I let him. For a second, my heart faltered. 12 years still echoed, after all. But then I remembered his smirk. His goodbye. His cowardice. So I kissed him back. And Lucien watched everything unfold. David's lips pressed against mine. Timid, unsure, needy. Once, that mouth swore eternal devotion. Now, it pleaded for scrap. I let him taste regret. My hand cupped his cheek. My body warm. My heart? Stone. "Stay," he whispered. I nodded slowly. Lucien stood upstairs, silent silhouette. His eyes burned questions I refused answering. I played my part. David, desperate for redemption, pulled me into his arms. He shivered when my fingers grazed his spine. "We could fix everything," he murmured. "I'm not broken," I answered. We spent that night tangled between whiskey and lies. He slept, dreaming of restoration. I stared at the ceiling, counting cracks. Morning arrived like a blade. I kissed his forehead, dressed in silk, and left him there, snoring, drooling, dreaming. Lucien waited on the balcony. "You kissed him." "I devoured him." "You're mine." "No one owns fire." We argued. His jealousy turned sharp. His voice, usually honeyed, snapped. "You're enjoying this," he growled. "I'm orchestrating it," I replied coolly. Lucien stepped back. "Be careful, Anna. Revenge blurs quickly." I walked away without blinking. A week later, tabloids exploded. Anonymous photo leaked. David, half naked, clutching me like salvation, his mouth buried against my stomach. Caption? "Fallen financier finds comfort in scorned ex." Nobody mentioned Maya. Nobody missed her. I visited David again. This time, I brought candles, wine, lingerie he used to buy for me during Paris trip. His eyes welled up. Guilt was a powerful aphrodisiac. "Why now?" he asked as I straddled him slowly, fingers digging into his chest. "You said you needed me." "I do. God, I do." He came quickly. Pathetically. I didn't even remove my bra. He fell asleep whispering my name. I texted Lucien from the bathroom. Phase 2 complete. We kept meeting secretly. David believed our encounters were rebuilding trust. In truth, I was mapping his weaknesses, recording confessions, collecting receipt. He revealed everything during pillow talk. About loans, fraud, fake investors, secret accounts under Maya's name. Lucien helped decrypt everything. "I could ruin him legally," he said, handing me a flash drive. "But that's too easy. I had a better idea. Art Basel. Miami. International collectors buzz. Critics circled Lucien's booth like flies over honey. My centerpiece? A 3-part installation titled Inheritance. Panel 1. An older man licking gold coins while children cried behind bars. Panel 2. A porcelain doll stomping on a bleeding heart. Panel 3. A burning ledger, faces melting inside numbers. People wept, gasped, stared. One woman fainted. The mayor bought panel 2. David arrived late, escorted by 2 unfamiliar women, one clearly an escort, the other maybe a publicist. He wore arrogance again, like a mothball-ridden coat, but his eyes widened when he saw Inheritance. He knew. He understood. Every detail came from our private moment. He cornered me near the bar. "What the hell is this?" "Art," I answered, sipping absinthe. "You're exposing me. I'm painting truth. I could sue. You'd lose." Lucien watched, hands behind his back, wearing black silk in danger. David's facade cracked. "You're still angry." "No. I'm inspired." He grabbed my wrist. Lucien moved instantly, grabbing David's shoulder. "Touch her again, and I'll finish what karma started." David backed off. People noticed. Whispers circled. I left with Lucien. We didn't speak until inside our limo. "I think it's time," I said. "For what?" "To burn everything. We plan meticulously. Step 1. Leak documents anonymously to federal investigators. Step 2. Host an invite-only art event titled Patron Saints of Sin. Step 3. Unveil the final piece." Lucien secured everything. I designed the masterpiece. A towering sculpture, 12 feet of twisted metal, glass shards, currency fragments, and broken promises. Embedded within, audio clips of David's voice, confessing, pleading, bragging. His face molded in clay at the base, mouth open, screaming silently. Opening night felt like church. People dressed in black. Lights dimmed low. A choir sang gospel covers of 90s love songs. Then, silence. Spotlight on the monument. David arrived halfway through, sweating. "You need to stop," he hissed, grabbing my elbow. "I'm just getting started. This is obsession." "No," I said calmly. "This is art." Seconds later, FBI entered. Flashlights. Badges. Arrest. David's expression collapsed into horror. Guests gasped. Cameras rolled. Maya showed up just as they cuffed him. Her laughter cut through the room like broken glass. "You ruined me," David screamed as they dragged him out. I lit a match, dropped it into an incense bowl, and turned my back. Later that night, Lucien pulled me into his lap beside our private fire pit. Moonlight glistened against his chest. He traced circles on my inner thigh. "You did it." "No," I whispered. "We did it." He kissed me, soft this time. Gentle. Loving. Something shifted. Maybe it was over. Maybe vengeance had an expiration. Maybe love was possible again. The morning after David's arrest, I watched sunlight drip across Lucien's sleeping form like golden silk. His chest rose steadily, mouth parted slightly, one arm slung across my hip as if claiming territory he'd already conquered. He looked peaceful, unaware that something inside me still twisted. I should have felt satisfied. Everything planned had unfolded flawlessly. David gone, his empire crumbled, Maya humiliated, my name revered, reputation untouchable. And Lucien? Still here. Loyal. Beautiful. Addicted. But something stirred. Victory hadn't healed the hollow inside me. It only repainted it. I slid from bed quietly, toes sinking into thick rugs. My reflection stared back from the full-length mirror near the window. I barely recognized her. Red lips, smoky gaze, leaner, meaner, slick with power. A siren carved from pain. Downstairs, my phone buzzed. Maya. I hadn't heard from her since David's meltdown. Curiosity won. I answered. "Did you enjoy the show?" she asked, voice thin, sharp. "Every second. You know he's blaming me?" He blamed everyone. He's telling them I forged signatures. Laundered. Manipulated him. He's trying to flip the narrative. I said nothing. She chuckled. We should get coffee. I laughed. Why? Because we're both bad girls with unfinished business. I agreed, because truthfully, I wanted to see her one more time. Not as competition. Not as victim. But as something else. We met at an upscale rooftop cafe. She wore black lace, a diamond choker, and an expression sharper than any knife. Her eyes, less innocent, more seasoned now. She'd grown teeth. I misjudged you, she said, sipping espresso. People usually do. You're not bitter. You're lethal. And you're not stupid. Just young. I'm not anymore. We talked. Really talked. She confessed her side, how David gaslight, manipulated, threatened her with silence. How he used her beauty to secure deals. How every designer dress came with bruises, emotional or otherwise. I listened. Then she leaned forward, smirking. Want to really finish him off? I raised an eyebrow. He's writing a book. From prison. About us. Framing himself as tragic hero, you as unhinged, me as naive pawn. She slid a flash drive across the table. Rough draft. Early chapters. Pure slander. I pocketed it. What do you want in return? Nothing, she said, then paused. Actually, maybe something small. Name it. A portrait. Of you. Of us. Back home, Lucien waited. He kissed my temple, held my waist. But his grip felt tighter, possessive. He smelled like pine and tension. You saw her, he said, not asking. Yes. His jaw clenched. She's dangerous, he muttered. So am I. He didn't laugh. That night, he didn't make love to me, he consumed me. Every thrust possessive, every kiss hard, like he was trying to stamp his name deeper inside me. I didn't stop him. But afterward, while he slept, I opened my laptop and began Maya's portrait. I painted us as queens, entwined, throned, barefoot, surrounded by ash. Between us, a man made of mirrors, shattered. Weeks passed. The art world called me revolutionary. Inheritance toured Europe. Lucien booked speaking engagements. He wanted us to co-author a memoir. He wanted forever. But something had cracked. He didn't like Maya's name spoken. He didn't like the late-night painting sessions. He didn't like when I spent hours away from him. Possession tightened. Jealousy bloomed. You're drifting, he accused one night. I'm expanding, I said. We created this together. No, I corrected. I created. You watched. That night, he didn't sleep beside me. He left without a word. The next morning, his gallery email was locked. My paintings had been quietly removed from the front page of his website. I received a cease and desist letter. He claimed co-authorship over every piece. Ownership of my name. He wanted 70% royalties. Retroactive. I stared at the paper and laughed. Lucien thought he made me. He forgot I don't break. I rebuild. I called Maya. Still want that portrait? Yes. We're going to auction it. She paused. Under what title? I smiled. Survivors. We hosted the unveiling in Venice, neutral ground. Guests arrived by boat. The room buzzed. The centerpiece glowed beneath chandelier light. Lucien showed up. He stood near the back, alone, glaring. I wore crimson silk. Maya wore gold. Together, we looked untouchable. The portrait stunned everyone. Maya's eyes, fierce. My lips, curled in quiet victory. The shattered man between us? Barely visible. A journalist asked about inspiration. We loved the same ghost, I replied. We sold the piece for $2 million. Half went to a shelter for abused women. Half went to a new foundation, the Velvet Rebellion. Lucien confronted me after. You've stolen everything. No, I said. I reclaimed it. You'll regret this. I've regretted worse. He left, furious, powerless. Today I live in Marseille. My studio overlooks the ocean. My art no longer bleeds, it breathes. Maya visits sometimes. We drink wine. We don't talk about him anymore. I never remarried. I don't need to. I have myself, and I'm enough.